This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Where are we at? We're back in studio this time once again for Wyoming Sports Talk Today, which is being brought to you by Marv's Plumbing and Heating. 1515 Logan Avenue, also by Mondello's Pizzeria at 1507 Stillwater Avenue. Suite D in the Greenway Commons. Right across the street is First Tier Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Lennox Auto Body with two locations for you. The main auto and truck repair center over on Dunn Avenue. The Auto Glass and Detail Center on Percy Boulevard. Medicap Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical needs on Bluegrass Circle, next door to Texas Roadhouse. Pine Valley Bank with two banking locations. You'll find the original location over on Vanda High and, of course, the east side location at the corner of College and Pershing. Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range, where you'll find delicious eats, 3 squares, Monday through Saturday. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service over on Highway 30, where they wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and a thank you to all of their fine customers. Taco John's of Cheyenne, where they are doing the Nachos Navidad thing. They are so delicious. Don't forget gift cards, too, from Taco John's of Cheyenne. And we get our program underway. We go to the scoreboard, and we take a look at what's happening in, hockey. I don't know, maybe there's some football going on. There's just a little bit of this and a little bit of that going on. Here's Nick to tell us what's happening.
Well, reminding folks, coming up tomorrow, our final high school basketball contest of the At Least 2018 campaign, as we will at least see Cheyenne East play host to Kelly Walsh. It will be girls and boys action. 6 o'clock is when everything will start with the girls, at least with the Lady T-Birds, and then the men will get underway at 7:30, tentative schedule. So pregame, about 5:40-ish here on 1480 KRAE, 101.1 FM, 1480KRAE.com, and also video live streaming, as always, Periscope and the 1480 KRAE YouTube channel. So again, high school action for the final time for 2018 coming up tomorrow here on KRAE. From this past weekend, Cheyenne Stampede in action at home against the Steamboat Wranglers. For Friday's contest, it was a losing effort by a final score of 7-3 in favor of the Wranglers. Saturday's contest, it was a thriller. It was a final in overtime as Cheyenne Stampede picked up their first home win of the season as they defeat the Wranglers 4-3 again in overtime. And then Sunday's matinee contest, it was 7-2, at least a loss for the Cheyenne Stampede, again losing to the Steamboat Wranglers. NHL action for tonight, you will see the Anaheim Ducks in Pittsburgh taking on the Penguins at PPG Paints Arena. The Columbus Blue Jackets will play host to the Vegas Golden Knights in a nationwide arena. The Boston Bruins in Montreal taking on the Canadiens. Ottawa Senators at Canadian Tire Center will play host to the Nashville Preds. And the New York Islanders will travel all the way down south 100 miles to the Pepsi Center. They will take on the Colorado Avalanche. That's what's happening in NHL action for tonight.
We look at the NBA schedule after we take a look at the National Football League. There is Monday Night Football. And it will be New Orleans and Carolina tonight in Carolina. Now, New Orleans automatically will get the division win for sure by defeating Carolina.
Well, they've already won the South Division. It's right now.
Well, they'll get that bye. They'll clinch the bye, first round bye.
Well, yeah, especially with the Rams losing last night.
And maybe, there'll be that, they'll have that home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Carolina, we could say adios with the loss for this evening. All right, here's what's going on the NBA scoreboard. Hit will be the Warriors tonight at Oracle. They will play host to the Memphis Grizzlies. Pistons in the Little Caesars Arena. They will entertain the Milwaukee Bucks. It is the Knicks tonight in the Mecca, hosting the Phoenix Suns. Jazz and the Rockets tonight at the Toyota Center. Kings and the Timberwolves in the Target Center. Bulls and Thunder tonight in the Chesapeake Energy Arena in OKC. Spurs tonight at AT&T hosting the 76ers, Trailblazers, and the Clippers tonight at Staples. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Yo, this is your cup holder talking. You know me, the little round thing between your car seats. Now, listen, we need to talk. Now, I normally have a nice cold bottle of Mountain Dew in me, but at the moment, I'm empty. That's right, no Mountain Dew. Nothing in here but a couple of quarters and a dime. A fully capable cup holder like me just carrying your loose change, it's embarrassing. Look, I'm not made for loose change. I'm round like a bottle of Mountain Dew. Glistening, cold, and delicious. I'm made to keep Mountain Dew within reach at all times, so you're never far from that incredible bold citrus kick whenever you need it. Just inches from your hand. So find a store already, grab some Dew, toss it back, then place that bottle where it belongs, and put that loose change back in your pocket. Mountain Dew. Do the Dew.
You're listening to Cheyenne's new Sports Talk Authority. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today on AM 1480 KRAE.
Monday afternoon, Wyoming Sports Talk Today. The Pro-Eddies, Larry, me, he, across the way there, Nick Pro-Eddy. It's a short week this week because the next are going off to celebrate Christmas with his mom. Early, right?
Yeah.
And then did I hear right? Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
Wednesday gone, back Monday.
But you said you were going to catch one of the bowl games, right?
Huh?
Did you say you were catching one of the bowl games?
I'd like to. They have a few going on. I think the day I fly into DFW, they'll have the Frisco Bowl. Or about 2 days later there in Fort Worth, just north of Waco, you'll have the Armed Forces Bowl with the likes of Army versus, I can't remember.
Houston.
So
that's
the Cougars. So not a bad matchup out there. So, again, that's where TCU plays there in Fort Worth. So 2 bowl games going on there, at least the time I will be out there. Would like to, but who knows?
Well, if you get to the Frisco Bowl, you'll catch the Aztecs and the Bobcats of Ohio.
Yeah, which is nothing too great. I'd rather watch the big ticket matchup, or at least Army, see what they have, if they can continue on this kind of fantastic season that they have, and I think they should, especially in at least the entitled.
You never take
take
anything for granted. Army's 10-2, Houston's 8-4. You just never know what's going to happen. The bowl season is off and running. And Nick put us in the ESPN Bowl?
Yeah, Bowl Mania or something like that. So it was just kind of calculating. That's kind of our weekly picks at this point, as it was last year. Since we didn't have last week, we are not going to have any weekly picks for quite some time, especially in the holiday season. So our college bowl picks, which eventually we'll get up on the website for all of you to see where we kind of lean towards. Again, that will kind of suffice for our weekly picks at this point, which I am ahead by 1 game.
I think I should retire right now out of the bowl picture. I won 5 out of 6 in the first week, so I'm done.
Well, you got 41 more.
No, I don't want to hear about it.
Chances still left.
But it's interesting, too, because I look at the game I lost. I got my butt kicked, but the team that lost, the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana, they were favored, heavily in that one. I mean, they were 2-1 favorites to win over Tulane. So,
again, those mid-major bowls of teams you don't really understand or know, it can go either way.
Utah State, they kicked the snot out of North Texas.
Is there any surprise? Again, that was just no contest.
Fresno State beat Arizona State.
Surprising.
You were surprised in that one?
I thought Arizona State would take care of business against Fresno State, but again, no respect against the Bulldogs, but I just figured a Pac-12 team.
And I had to do not so much flipping the coin, but I had to do some quick reading up on teams like North Carolina AT&T taking on the Alcorn State.
Well, that's a Division I.
I know, but I had to go real quick and find out a little
team.
bit on that, who they played. Same thing with Georgia Southern as they took on Eastern Michigan. And then finally, Middle Tennessee going up against Appalachian State. I went with Appalachian State because of just their victory over Michigan so many years ago.
If you look into Appalachian State and what they've done coming up from the FCS to FBS play as they're competing right now in the Sun Belt, I think for Appalachian State, they're up there as one of the most successful kind of programs since making the move up to Division I football, or at least Division I-A football. They're doing something that has kind of just gone under the radar. It's almost not so much as what Boise had to go through or what kind of UCF is doing right now, but Appalachian State, I think that's a program that needs a little bit more respect, or at least, again, they kind of play in a terrible conference, and I think they could probably hang with some big dogs.
Well, tomorrow, since we don't have a bowl game tonight because it's Monday Night Football, tomorrow night we will have the Cher Bundy Boca Raton Bowl.
I don't know.
Well,
I couldn't tell you who plays in any of
and
them.
it's interesting because both you and myself have Northern Illinois, the Huskies, going up against the University of Alabama Blazers, and the Blazers are favored 4-1 in this contest. But I think you and me are going after Northern Illinois because we know what they can do.
I guess on that game, I just kind of coin flipped on. Again, a lot of these mid-majors, I just went.
I think Northern Illinois is a very good competitor. They've hung very tough with the Mountain West Conference, for example. So
a few times, but they've had their struggles in a few contests. It wasn't anything of a special season for Northern Illinois. But
I still think they're a better football program. So we'll see how that
goes. UAB, there's not much you could say on that team as well, too. They kind of just
don't know much about
skated
them
through this season at this point. If you look at some of their opponents, it's again, some of these bowls, it makes you just kind of wonder, why do we have this? I don't know. For me, it's bowl season. It feels it's so watered down at this point. Of why do we have 6-6 teams getting after it? Of here it is, BYU competing at the Idaho Bowl. At least with the Potato Bowl? Am I excited to see the Cougars in action? Not really. Do I really care of what North Carolina A&T did? Not really.
But you have to
I don't know.
You have to throw a vote out there and see who's going to win.
Yeah, but it just, I feel like college football is starting to find itself in kind of an interesting situation of what kind of the basketball, at least with the NCAA tournament, is becoming of. Well, all right, it's 64 teams. Well, all right, now let's make it 68. Well, now let's make it 72. Well, maybe 80. Let's combine the NIT. I don't know. It's just it's slowly starting to get just watered down to where some of these bowls, who cares?
But as long as there's
the Frisco Bowl against San Diego State, who's competing against Ohio.
But as long as there's tons of corporate America.
No, I get that. It's all about the money.
And they
clearly
can find a field, and they can find.
And there's plenty of fields, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And again, it's all about the money.
But
for
you're
ESPN,
right. It's so watered down, and again,
it just doesn't feel special anymore.
Yeah, to go to a bowl game, even before you were born, to go to a bowl game was based on record. I look back in the old Rose Bowl, the Rose Bowl with the granddaddy of them all, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it still is.
But it was the Pac-10, Pac-8, Pac-12 winner going up against the Big 12. I mean, you would.
Well,
excuse me,
Big Ten.
Big Ten. You would always have Stanford and Ohio State, or USC and Michigan. You would have marquee matchups.
And you have, with this year's Rose Bowl, again, Washington, Ohio State. That's not a bad matchup. Those are two teams that were expected to be in the Final Four.
Did they win their conference? No. Washington didn't win their conference.
I thought they did. Or am I wrong?
The West?
Well, they won the North.
I mean, the North. But again, yeah. But last year there wasn't the Rose Bowl wasn't part of the.
And Ohio State did. And Ohio State did win the Pac, or at least the Big Ten. They defeated Michigan. That was that complete blowout. So they technically, or at least no, they beat what, Northwestern. Yeah. So technically you have your champions. Is it anything
special? No.
It doesn't. I think it's a good marquee matchup.
It doesn't bowl me over, so to speak.
It does. So again, these are two teams that were expected to be the final, at least part of the Final Four for the championship.
But you had,
and they didn't meet those expectations.
When you had FC back in the day, and they were 11-1, 10-2, and Ohio State would come in 11-0, whatever. I mean, usually the Rose Bowl had implications of a championship, national championship game.
Yeah.
I mean, think back to FC and Houston here recently.
Well, you'll see that with the Cotton Bowl. Again, I think Alabama and
that's the Bowl Championship Series. This is before the Bowl Championship Series.
Yeah, I guess, but
I don't know. It's just
the playoff. The 14 playoff is not bad.
It's not great either. But
I'd rather have the 4-team playoff, but the amount of bowls, and again, that's a tiresome process of picking all these things. Because again, there's just so much garbage in there. Again, the Frisco Bowl, who cares? Is it something that Aztec fans are that excited for, that the San Diego State made it to this lone bowl? I don't really think so. You think BYU fans are or at least extremely happy that they made it to the Potato Bowl? Maybe a little bit, but nothing where it's you're going to see a flock of Cougar fans driving all the way up to Boise to go see it.
A bowl game was a reward for a good season.
Is 6-6 is 500?
No, that's not a good season.
No.
And the Wyoming Cowboys did not get rewarded for a 6-6 season.
They shouldn't.
And again, 8-5. That's kind of
that's all right.
it. It's pushing it. But again,
it depends on those 8-4, 8-5s. Where if a lot of those losses are against top 25, you competed against kind of upper echelon schools and you tried.
If you won your conference, you got a bowl bid, right?
Well, that's guaranteed.
Okay, if you finished second, you were more than likely to get a bowl bid, an at-large type of bowl bid.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, there wasn't, like you said, 44 bowl games. There was maybe 24.
Well, here we are in the Mountain West Conference. We got 6 teams representing out of the mid-major. Again,
by the way,
who knows how many out of the
2-0
Sun Bowl
right now too.
Yeah.
But
They should go 3-0 with Boise, but
and again too, think about this. I think of the 6 bowl games thus far, I watched 3 minutes of Fresno State when they were kicking.
I think that was the only game.
That's the only game I've watched.
And I again, with this weekend, for me, it's more so of what I've been focused on is hockey, at least kind of with the Cheyenne Stampede being in action, and again, local basketball. That's kind of been my focus. Is it something that I need to take time out of my schedule to go, I need to catch up on Fresno. I need to catch up on Utah State. Other than the Fresno State game that had me intrigued, but so far, again, Utah State against North Texas, that wasn't even a contest.
Who cares?
That wasn't a contest. Yeah, you should have just handed the bowl to the Aggies as is. But to the rest of them, it's, again, am I excited to see BYU coming in 6-6 and playing whoever? No. You even go down to all the rest of these bowls. The Hawaii Bowl, Hawaii and La Tech,
for some oddball reason, I used to watch that.
And I think Boise,
it used to be on Christmas Day. Is it still on Christmas Day?
I have no idea.
Well,
you got all the
I got
the dates and times.
I got out of it because I didn't want to leave it open.
That'd be the XFL thing.
Anyway, but that used to be on Christmas Day. I would watch it just to watch a football game.
Yeah. It's just hard to keep up with, again, who's playing at this point in time, how many bowls there are, where the locations are, what dates and times. There's so much more going on of, am I excited to see a Memphis team compete? Am I excited to see some of these just kind of unknowns?
Yeah, but we're
compete?
Wyoming. Nobody cares about us in Wyoming.
Well, yeah.
We're not a market guru, you know what I mean? We're not going to help the ESPN ratings go over the top.
Well, and that's why Mountain West kind of made that deciding factor of saying, hey, we'll sacrifice Wyoming to put BYU in and kind of at least take that opportunity to send at least Boise State into an at-large bid to make more money for the conference.
Provo, Utah has a hell of a lot of people. The state of Utah
it's close. It's closer by.
I know, but Utah has
gathering from the entire state of Wyoming to get over there.
I think Utah has about 5 times the population, maybe even more than that of Wyoming. So
I don't know.
Again,
bowl season.
More eyes out of Provo are going to watch than eyes out of the state of Wyoming.
Yeah.
Because, and again, BYU. If you ever been to LaVelle Edwards Stadium, place is jam-packed all the time. 60,000 fans always there to watch a BYU contest, win or lose. So, again, but you're absolutely right. Going back to your point, and again, it's so watered down. There are so many junk bowls. But, again, you got to credit the cities that are putting on these bowl games. And, we'll pick on Cheyenne, Wyoming. Cheyenne, Wyoming goes to the Jonah Bank folks.
And we're talking to that mic there.
No, but I'm just saying, they go to Jonah Bank, and they say, let's get the Jonah Bank Bowl. Hey, guess what? ESPN says, wow, you got a corporate sponsor. Here's how much the cost is. We'll give you X, and let's put it on. Find a good field. Find me 40,000 seats, and we're ready to go.
It just feels like we're now handing these 6-6 teams. Now we'll probably get into 5-7 teams. Of saying,
We've already
hey,
done that already.
I'm just saying it's slowly getting into that point of, hey, cool, you participated this season. Here, have a postseason bid. It's the same with the NCAA. Again, the expansion off the NCAA tournament, the CITs, the CBIs. Yes, I get it. It's for these mid-major schools that don't have the opportunity, but it's something where if you're not a part of that mid-major conference, or at least your team is not competing in it or anything like that, again, here I am. Am I really tuning in for a CIT tournament?
No.
CBI? No, not really. Not at all.
No.
It's why do these exist? Why do they need to exist? Why do we need to expand out to give pretty much the entirety, every school an opportunity, a postseason bid, just to say, hey, congrats, you competed this year.
But think about this. We barely tuned in for NIT.
Yeah.
And again, too, and if you look at the WNIT, the only reason we tuned into the WNIT was because the Cowgirls were in it.
Yeah.
But again, think about it. The tournament of 68 teams, because 4 teams get eliminated, and then it's 64. That's the tournament right there. Who wants to see who's number 69 in the country? The 69th best team winning the NIT.
A decider of who's going to be 16 to get obliterated by a number 1 seed.
And then you go to the CBI or CIT, who's going to be the number 97th team in the nation or 98th team in the nation.
Yeah.
And then who's going to be the 110th best team in the nation.
Again, where these schools
cares?
are paying for these tournaments as well. They got
cares?
to pay to host this stuff just to say, hey, we got a championship banner. I think is it something that the University of Wyoming is that much proud to say, hey, we won a CIT tournament?
But maybe North Carolina, Northern Colorado might be, because that's big doings for Greeley. I guess I don't know.
It's just for me it's kind of getting this day and age of, hey, we're handing out participation awards, participation trophies and championships to pretty much everyone who competes at this point in time. It just especially in the NCAA ranks, nothing feels special anymore. These bowl games don't have the prestige, don't have that marquee matchup. Again, I think the only one we've seen so far of that 5 this past weekend, at least on Saturday, was probably Fresno and Arizona State. That's a good crowd. Yeah,
it drew a pretty decent crowd. See, here's the thing too, when you went to a bowl game, and I'm thinking back the Joe Tiller, Paul Roach days. Even when we went to the Holiday Bowl. Yeah, and the one time that we lost to Iowa. I mean, that was a great crowd down there in San Diego. Then we went to the Copper Bowl, and we lost to Cal. Great crowd, both from Berkeley as well as from the state of Wyoming. Mm-hmm. I think when you go to a bowl game, and even though you're in a 50,000 or 60,000 seat stadium, and 30,000, 25,000 show up, it's not that cool.
Well, it's those recent memories of the New Mexico Bowl bids that Wyoming has got where it's like, are you really that proud that your team went to the New Mexico Bowl where no one really showed up for Albuquerque? You beat up on a nobody team?
And think about the host city. Think about when we were down in Tucson, and I know I was down there for both Cal and when we had Kansas State. But the point is, the city of Tucson had to go out and get their folks to come out and watch this thing. In addition to Wyoming, and in addition to Kansas State, in addition to Cal.
Yeah.
And again, the Cal Bears playing in Wyoming. And I think back in that day, because I remember sitting up in press row, and the guys from Berkeley were kind of poo-pooing, why are we playing the Cowboys? We're a Pac-10 team back then when it was Pac-10. It's like, stick this in your ear, dude. And then they saw all the crowd, all the Wyoming fans that, half the state showed up to watch the Cowboys play. It was a bowl game that had prestige. It was the Copper Bowl.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Doritos / Tostitos Copper Bowl. It was the Copper Bowl. And you see it when you go over to Laramie, when you see it posted on the sign that, hey, we went to the Copper Bowl. And it was a good payout. It was a good payday for both the Cal Bears.
Yeah, you got the Holiday Bowl, you got the Copper Bowl, and then at least kind of tied in with it, you got the New Mexico Bowl appearances that you have.
But even the Holiday Bowl. Think back to the Holiday Bowl. Look at the prestige that bowl has had. It crowned a national champion once. BYU. It was a big bowl. And it was played like on December 29th, not December 18th, not the 23rd.
The Holiday Bowl it's kind of there. At least, is it anything prestigious? I forget who was competing in this year's Holiday Bowl down there in San Diego, but I mean, it's not a bad matchup.
But back when BYU WAC champions, BYU undefeated, and they went up against Penn State, and it was a shootout. And I hope I got my facts right. I do believe it was Penn State. It was a great game.
Yeah.
And they were crowned the unofficial national champions by going undefeated. Jim McMahon was quarterback back in the day. So, but like you said, Nick, 44 bowl games, I can't get all that fired up. Even the New Year's Day games, I don't get fired up anymore. Yes, I still like to watch the Rose Bowl, but it's kind of watered.
Well, the historical.
But it's watered down now. Like you said, it's watered down. I'm not even into the semifinals of the championship series. I'll watch the finals. I guess the semifinals, it's, hey, the Copper Bowl, here's the Sugar Bowl or wherever the Orange Bowl, whatever the hell they're competing in. It's not really for that bowl anymore, but again, it's just something that NCAA, it's a situation that needs to be addressed, something hopefully NCAA is looking into, something that, hey, maybe we get rid of some of the bowls and maybe extend out the championship playoffs. I'd be for that. Hey, go to get 8 teams into it and eliminate some of the Frisco Bowls of the world or the Potato Bowl. I mean, why are we playing a bowl game in Boise, Idaho for whatever reason? Again, cold weather, is that really the greatest thing? Again, some of these lower bowls, I get it. It's for these mid-major schools. They got corporate sponsors. It's all about the money for ESPN. Right.
But right now, I think it's hurting the product, especially the postseason.
Let me correct myself.
We need to get to the.
I know. Let me correct myself. On the 1984 Holiday Bowl, BYU beat the Michigan Wolverines 24-17, and Penn State also went undefeated that year too. So it was a battle of Joe Paterno's team, or was it Lavelle Edwards' team, who was the national champions, and BYU was the unofficial national champions in 1984. All right, we do need to take a break, and I'm glad that we got a chance to talk about that because, like I said, I'm like you. I think a lot of these bowl games are just PU, but hey, for the cities that host it and for ESPN, they make a couple of bucks because their advertisers will buy it.
They don't make a couple of bucks; they make a lot.
Well, yeah, but they go out and say, "Hey, you are going to buy." If
that's why ESPN has these exclusive rights.
If I'm selling advertising to you, Nick, and corporate America, you are buying the whole package, dude. You're not buying one game. All right, we're going to take a timeout. We'll come back with more after these words here at 1480 KRAE.
Style and value come out strong on the newly redesigned 2019 Kia Forte. AJ Miller here for Kia of Cheyenne, and the Kia Forte has new performance improvements and technology innovations that rival the competition, and Forte is priced less. Right now, during our Light Up the Holiday sales event, you could save even more on the new 2019 Kia Forte. Compare Forte to Cruze, Corolla, or Jetta and see that the Kia Forte offers you even more for less money. Come by or go to KiaofCheyenne.com and we'll make it easy.
Bad cough or the flu got you down? Dr. Howard Willis, with over 23 years of medical experience, is now your local physician for family health and primary care. Located at 1616 East 19th Street with Dr. Joseph Dobson, Dr. Willis offers that wise counsel to get you back on the road to good health. DOTs and walk-ins are always welcome. So next time a bad cold or flu grabs you, call Dr. Willis at 631-8430. That's 631-8430.
There are a lot of things that can go wrong with your vehicle, and most of it is a minor problem. And John at Shine Auto Repair and Service knows the right way to get you back on track. So with temperatures heading south, now's the perfect time to winterize your car or truck. This can be done with a simple oil change, maybe a tune-up, checking the thermostat, brakes, and shocks. It's the little and important repairs that Cars has performed on all makes of vehicles now for over 25 years to keep you motoring along in any season. For an appointment, call 632-0498 or stop on by at 604 West Lincoln Way. Shine Auto Repair and Service, open Monday through Friday.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 55 and winds out of the west at 10 to 15. And for tonight, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 32 and winds out of the west at 10 to 15 miles per hour. On Tuesday, it'll continue to be mostly cloudy with highs around 47. And on Tuesday night, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 32.
When it comes to sports talk in Cheyenne, it's a whole new ball game. Let's play ball! You're listening to Wyoming Sports Talk today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
We are back on Wyoming Sports Talk today, talking about some of the bowl
It's just
boredom.
move on, especially since we do have only show for this week. We had to maneuver a few things. No Cheyenne Stampede coach's show after kind of at the request of Coach Neil Breen after this past weekend. It was not kind of the prettiest of sights against Steamboat here in town. Again, I combined Steamboat Springs into one word. Again, it's been that week so far. At least I'm ready for the Christmas kind of vacation at this point in time. I'm kind of wiped, but it was a rough go of it for the Stampede this past weekend. And yes, they did get the overtime win. Unfortunately, it does not. At least it counts as a win, but it's not towards at least kind of. It doesn't show up as number 3 win, at least official.
Right.
It's kind of muddled. So,
but you also got to remember too, 3 guys were suspended for Friday night, and that doesn't help the cause. You know, that kind of brings down the.
Yeah, you had 3 suspended, but you also had
mojo.
another suspension during Saturday's contest, so you lost another player for Sunday's game. Sunday's game, they came out very flat. They looked just plain tired, where Steamboat just looked like they looked like a completely fresh team, a different team, and they were ready to play, clearly, as they, again, defeat the Cheyenne Stampede 2 out of the 3 this past weekend, again, scoring 7 goals in both Friday and Sunday, compared to the Stampede's 2 on Sunday, 3 on Friday night. So, again, out of the request of Coach Neil Breen, we will not have the coaches show coming up. They will be at least heading out to Vegas for the Vegas Showcase coming up for the next couple of, at least I do believe for this weekend. So that's what the Stampede are doing right now. We will have the LCCC coaches show coming up today, though. We will hear from both head coaches, no players, as the players are shipped out. They are on their Christmas break since, again, college is now out for the winter break. So we will hear from women's head coach Brian Ortmeyer. He will be in studio with us at 4 o'clock. 4:30, we will hear from men's head coach Jason Ficca. He'll be on the road. I do believe he's on a recruiting trail right now. So we'll catch up with him via phone.
You know, so this is for those that were in college, and you know, you might have experienced it once. Best time of year, get that month off, and then you get to like about January 5th or 6th. You go, school starts in a week. Do I really want to go back? You ask yourself that question. Do I really want to go back? But for the athletes, the student athletes, yes, they have to go back, because this is when we start getting serious in the basketball campaign. We got one more preseason game per se, and then it gets.
I think for both men and women, men will have to play host to Western Nebraska one more time. The women, at least our first contest coming back in 2019. We'll be on the road. Yeah, we'll be in Alamosa, Colorado, seeing Adams State Junior Varsity with the women. So, just one remaining, I think, for both, again, preseason contests, and then we get in the thick of it of Region 9 North action coming up in January, February, and a little bit of March. So, looking forward to that. High school action, again, coming up. Our final 2018 game will be tomorrow. At least Gelly Walsh hosts, or at least they will be in town taking on Cheyenne East. So our final high school game for 2018, 2019 for us, we will return for the Taco John's invite. So we will see Cheyenne South, Cheyenne East, and Cheyenne Central 3 days in a row coming up again, early part of January.
It looks like from the first initial tournament, first and initial go hand in hand. It looks like
South boys at least finally got a victory under their belt.
South girls performed well.
I
think a young group.
I think
a very young outfit.
Yeah, they're still young. They're not as young as last year, but they have a good core that was playing varsity minutes of last season. For the Lady Fighting Bison, they're a dark horse team. They're a team that can surprise the Cheyenne East. They could probably surprise the Central. They could probably surprise a lot of teams throughout the state of Wyoming. They were very impressive against a very talented Greeley West team that we saw last Thursday here on 1480 KRAE. It's, I think, for Coach DeBryan, he's got something that could be very special this season, and fortunate enough, and he's going to have a lot of those players returning for 1-2 more years as well too.
Absolutely.
It's for me, Cheyenne South, again, early into the season, yes, they turned over the ball a lot. That's a big issue. They miss kind of opportunities. But, again, you can't really fault it. It's early in the season. It's kind of that filling up part.
And
it's still a young team, but it's a young team that
this year is going to be gravy, because this is a team really that should start seeing the fruits coming up next season.
I think honestly they're seeing it right now. I think this season they are, and I think what Coach DeBryan has got this team doing, it could be something that we could be talking about Cheyenne South for quite a few more years.
And that's excellent to hear. And again, too, how about Cheyenne East, Lady Thunderbirds beating Gillette down?
Yeah, 6-1, competed against down in the Power to Play tournament down in Windsor. Yes, defeating the defending state champions, Campbell County. Yeah, they're a very good outfit. They're 6-1 so far on the season. Interested to see how they'll at least compete with Kelly Walsh coming up tomorrow night. I think
Kelly Walsh is a pretty good crew, you know. Yeah. I mean, both boys and girls. See, the thing is, you look at with Coach Westling, and we've had that opportunity to talk with him. He's been with this group. I mean, he's kind of
he's developed
them through.
Yeah,
he's developed them up until the time Rusty Horsley had some of them. And then again, too, the other group that he's had, he's had them for a couple of seasons, so they know what's expected out of Coach Westling. So I think advantage right there to the Cheyenne East Lady Thunderbirds. I think Coach Horsley stepped into a very, very good situation at Cheyenne East.
Well, absolutely.
You got like about 5 core players, and you got one that's injured right now. And once he comes back, he had some big numbers as a freshman in Rock Springs.
Yeah.
So, and then also, too, going back to Coach Westling, he also gets the sister of Buell, of Graydon Buell, who's a pretty decent basketball player in her own right, too. Then you got Cheyenne Central boys.
Yeah, again, we're talking with Tag and just how they've been a little bit dominating, again, with Lawson Lovering, obviously, again, the big man across the state of Wyoming. Yeah, he's kind of showing his presence as he did last year, but he's going to continue doing it, again, for Cheyenne Central.
And he's got some support.
Yeah, he certainly does.
Yeah, so you're looking at not Lawson all by himself there.
Yeah, right now, again, the boys, at least Central, East, it's going to be very competitive. South, it's going to take some time. South, let's be honest, again, on the boys' side, it was good to see that they finally got over the hump. But I think kind of South boys, again, a lot of those former football players for the Fighting Bison, as I kind of said through that season, I'll say for this season for kind of the basketball side, they're going to have to conquer a lot of those little tiny hills, at least. It's something that we kind of express to Coach Bailey after the game of saying, hey, you just got to focus on kind of the small positives with this team. I think it's kind of climbing those steps ever so slightly to eventually get to kind of where you want to be with at least the Fighting Bison kind of program, at least getting it on the victorious side. But it's something that, the Bison, it's going to take some time. It's a work in progress for Cheyenne South to kind of get to the East level or the Central level of where they're at kind of currently.
And let's not sell off the Lady Indians yet either, too. I think Coach Kirkbride, he's got him, again, ladies that have been with the program for a while. I mean, a lot of these kids I remember, 3 years ago as sophomores, they're jumping into that senior rank right now. So they know the system. Is basketball, here's the way I look at it. I'm going to exclude the Gillettes and the Natronas and Sheridan. I'm going to, and Thunder Basin. The South is going to be fun this year. I really think it's going to be fun, even with Laramie included, because you never know what type of team Laramie's going to throw on the floor.
Yeah, I don't know.
But amongst the 3 schools, East, Central, South, I think on the ladies' side, it's going to be fun to watch.
I think on the ladies' side at this point in time, again, we'll get our first look at East, and then Central will be in the early part of 2019. But right now, kind of seeing and looking at the schedule, seeing how all teams are playing here, at least on the girls' side, here in the Cheyenne area, it's kind of anyone's game right now. It's in my opinion,
it's up for grabs.
It really is. Could South win it? Absolutely. Could East cruise away with it? Absolutely. Could Central sneak up and surprise a few folks? Absolutely. It's right now to compete for who's going to at least take away those victories against these 3 when they pair up later in the season. I don't know. It's really a toss of the coin. Any team could upset. Any team can go with those victories, especially when, again, you're playing on that neutral site there at Story Gym.
And most importantly, we're over here lipping off, and we shouldn't be, because it's not how you play in December, January. It's how you're playing in late February leading into the tournament in March.
Yeah.
So, and again, good news is that the regionals are here for our 6 schools. That's a very good sign. And then, of course, then we all head up to state over in Casper. So, yeah, the basketball season, it's got potential at least. Over in Laramie,
Who knows?
well, and I'm not going to talk about. I'm going to go to the guys and the ladies at the university right now. Coach Edwards got some problems.
He's got a lot of injuries.
Coach Legursky's got
And
he's
it's-
got a team that is developing. You know, they're young, they're developing, but Coach Edwards has got a lot of problems right now at the University of Wyoming.
It's pretty much for the Cowboys. It's a write-off season at this point. They are way too injured. They're missing a lot of bodies, a lot of big names. Justin James, he can only do so much, but he is not carrying that team. He is not that kind of a player that can do this for the University
Did we
of Wyoming.
find out how long Hunter Maldonado could be down? Did it say?
Not estimated wise, I am not sure on that. It sounded like he was out for possibly the entire season. It sounded like
I'm not going to go with the remainder of the season. I think he's going to be down. He's going to be shut down for quite a while. I think he'll.
My understanding was it was something that they were evaluating, but it was kind of on the worst side. Possibly he was out and done, but I don't know.
I haven't gotten the full boat on that one, but I heard it was just a few weeks. So who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
And then I think that the Cowboys should be very fortunate that Justin James did not go NBA draft. I mean, or
If he left the program,
I mean,
this team would be right there with San Jose of just you'd be begging for a win.
And the crowds are reflecting the disconnect. The Wyoming Cowboys men's basketball team.
As much as they try to connect with the state of Wyoming, going out to
there's a disconnect out there.
Doing a practice here at LCCC, they did events in Casper. They went across the state saying, "Hey, here's our program, here's our team." But yeah, the state of Wyoming has not reciprocated that of saying, "Sorry,
and
you got a bad product. I'm not showing up."
And you're talking about a guy that's had 20-win seasons over there.
Yeah.
Now, whether they were lackluster 20-win seasons, including that CIT or CBI, whatever they were. The fans are just not responding to that brand of basketball.
No.
And again, it's not what the coach is doing. It's not what the kids are doing. Obviously, they're not winning, but there's such a disconnect. Nobody cares.
Well, I think it carries over from football as well, too, of, hey, fans weren't really – I think it's kind of just fans across the state are kind of lethargic. They're just at a don't-care attitude at this point in time with the university of going, well, nothing's really special going on right now. Hey, in Sheridan, here in Cheyenne, here in Casper, I got high school I can entertain myself with. I got local JUCO that's doing successful, whether it's the Casper Lady Thunderbirds up there, Thunderbirds, or down here with the Golden Eagles of LCCC. Hey, I'd rather stick in town, not risk traveling all the way to Laramie, especially here in the winter. I'd rather stick in town and just watch the local products that are, in all honest opinion, a little bit more entertaining.
Yeah, I agree. And right now, I just don't foresee the fan. And here's the worst part.
It would take.
You're talking UW now is gone for a month of students.
Yeah, and that's kind of your core base at this point in time with
you would
AA. And
think.
it's 3,000, 2,000. I don't even expect 1,000 to show up for a lot of these games coming up again, where these students are kind of your lifeblood. I don't think anyone, especially in the holidays, and I think for Cowboys they have, I think, 1 or 2 remaining home games. There's no way that thing is. It's going to be crickets.
And again, too, what do? Do you throw it upon Coach Edwards? You say, hey,
I don't blame Coach Edwards.
No one's showing up. They're not winning. Do you throw the blame on him?
I don't think you can.
Okay,
I really don't. Again, this is a team that was expected to be
not good.
Yeah, again, kind of middle of the road. Mountain West are showing that they're probably a little bit worse than that kind of prediction. But that's also too because this team has been very just injury prone. They've just been devastated by just some major injuries right now. That again, that's kind of out of your control. But do I lay the at least blame on fan attendance on Coach Allen Edwards? No, not really. I just think
you
it's
can to a certain degree, and I'll tell you why. The brand of basketball is not exciting.
Well,
Think about it.
Yeah.
The brand of basketball at UW, And again, this is Alan Edwards' team. It's not Larry Shiatt's team anymore.
Yeah, this is his recruits.
This is his group of kids. But the brand of basketball doesn't wow fans to come back.
No.
That's just it. It's like, okay, I can live with the Cowboys losing. I can live with that. I've seen enough losses in my lifetime here. But to go over there and watch a game, I'm not that excited. I actually like watching the other team because their brand of basketball is a little more exciting than ours.
Especially when you are losing to the likes of a Niagara, or you're losing to DU, you're losing to Northern Colorado. Yeah, it's pretty much.
You're losing to teams. That's another thing. That's an insult too to the fans. Think about it. And again, it's not a matter of how much money.
We're seeing it's just how the season has gone for the Cowboys. You're seeing historical firsts where, again, what Northern Colorado did. They're the first team to go back-to-back wins in Double A.
It's not a matter of money. I'm not wowed. You lose to Northern Colorado. You lose to the Pioneers.
You're missing my point.
No, I'm not missing your point. My point is this. I don't want to come back because the brand of basketball is not that good.
Well, the brand is not good, but also, too, you're not attracting attractive opponents, essentially. During my time around UNLV, living out in Las Vegas, when UNLV was just awful there, about 2015, 2017, between those years, the only reason crowds ever showed up to Thomas and Mack or when they would play at the brand-new T-Mobile Arena was, oh, hey, we got Duke in town. Whoa, we got Kansas in town. We know they're going to whip on at least on the Running Rebels. But yeah, I'll watch a ranked Duke team. Yeah, I'll show up for a Kansas team.
Also, too,
but when Wyoming or whoever's coming into town to compete against Rebels, it was just dead quiet. No one cared in Las Vegas.
With the Cowboys, though, if they were beating Niagara by 30, beating the University of Northern Colorado by 20, the Pioneers by 20, I think wow you to come back.
Oh yeah, if you're putting on whippings, yeah, absolutely. You go, wow, I got to see this powerhouse.
There you go. They don't wow,
but they're not doing that.
Yeah,
they're instead, again, like I just said, what they're doing this season, they're doing the complete opposite. They're actually creating bad history against the program. Again, Northern Colorado coming in the first time back-to-back, at least wins for a non-conference opponent. It's never been done. Northern Colorado is the first ever team to ever do that in the AA of win back-to-back years in Laramie. That's never happened in the entirety history of the Cowboys. And again, that school's existed since what, the 1800s? Basketball's probably been in existence probably near a century. DU, a team that shouldn't be winning in Laramie, but they did.
Well, once in a while, a blind squirrel finds
Niagara. They had no business probably winning in Laramie, coming all the way across the country.
And then we turn around and beat a South Carolina. Go figure.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, we're going to take a timeout. We'll come back with more after these words on 1480 KRAE.
For 56 years, 1480 KRAE has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Also with KYY FM, we are Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM/FM combo radio stations. Add that to the addition of 3 FM radio translators to serve the area with programming from both KRAE and KYY, and that equals a lot of bang for your local advertising dollar. Radio, yesterday and today, still works. For more information, contact Don Morris at 307-637-0301.
It's a tradition that dates way, way back. I'm talking about Taco John's and the can't skip holiday tradition, better known as Nachos Navidad. Now you remember all those red and green tortilla chips, the incredible nacho cheese, the cool sour cream, and of course, the amazing 100% American beef. When Santa asks what you want this year, tell him Nachos Navidad. Then tell him where to find it. Taco John's.
Due to our stormy season this summer, Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service is offering you a hail of a deal on a wide variety of travel trailers, including toy haulers. Get up to an additional 50% off MSRP on Jolly Rogers' already low prices. Check out their new and used inventory. Damaged or not, you can still travel in style. Call Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service today, your exclusive Jayco dealer, at 634-8457. See them at 6102 U.S. Highway 30 or go to jollyrogersrv.com.
Cheyenne's oldest coin dealer and supplier, The Coin Shop, is proud to serve the community since 1982. Trade or sell your gold, silver, and other precious metals. Visit with David and the knowledgeable staff for a fair and honest assessment of your valuables. Located at 510 West Lincoln Way. Call them today at 778-7196 to schedule your personal consultation.
You can actually get something good for your health at a drive-thru window. When you order your next prescription from Medicap Pharmacy, call ahead and use our drive-thru window. Or you can call for free delivery. You can even log on to Medicap.com and order a prescription refill. Your Medicap pharmacist will call you to make arrangements for pickup or delivery.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Let First Education Federal Credit Union help make buying your next car a breeze. At First Education, you get competitive rates and deal with friendly local folks. Be in control by getting pre-approved and know what you have to spend before going to the dealer. Call 432-7400, go to firstedfcu.com, or visit us in person at 120 West Carlson Street with approved credit, membership eligibility required, federally insured by NCUA.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 55 and winds out of the west at 10 to 15. For tonight, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 32 and winds out of the west at 10 to 15 miles per hour. On Tuesday, it'll continue to be mostly cloudy with highs around 47. And on Tuesday night, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 32.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
But we do want to talk some football from the National Football League. The Bears are winners of the North. Let's see what else happened over the weekend. How about
49ers?
49ers shocked. Come on, that was a shocking win against Seattle.
What a 10, 11, 12 game skid against the Seahawks, and that goes on the road and at home there in Santa Clara.
OT.
But, yeah, OT with the game-winning field goal.
Did you see yesterday, though? Did you watch it in the highlights? How many blank chairs there were at Levi Stadium?
Well, again, it's a 3-10 team. Yeah, you're not going to shovel out with parking of how much that is a joke there at Levi Stadium, experiencing that. $58 to get cheap seats, or at least kind of minimum to sit up in the nosebleeds. It's not worth it, again, of how expensive life is, at least living is in the state of California, especially there in Silicon Valley, or at least the Bay Area. It's not worth it. Yeah, you're going to save that money, that precious money, to go to whatever the hell you got to pay for, taxes, or to get a paper bag tax to go to McDonald's or something. But yeah, you're going to hold on to that precious money instead of going seeing a 3-10 49ers team.
Yeah, but you know what? The 49ers beloved up and down 580 there all the way into San Francisco.
But it's still in that core, though. Again, California, you got to think gas. I think when I was just out there,
it's the same price as it here.
It's approaching $3.
We are higher than the national average in this doggone state, for gosh sakes. So let's talk about some other games here real quick. Eagles beating the Rams last night, so
surprising.
They keep their playoff hopes alive because Dallas got shut out by the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
The Steelers beat the Patriots. That's a little bit of an
you beat them at home there at Heinz. It's two teams that know each other very well. Again, it's that classic rivalry of Big Ben take it on Tom Brady. Yeah, even in bad Steeler teams, they find a way to pull up those at least quote-unquote upset victories against the Patriots. But the one we're also missing from Saturday, how about it? The Browns.
The Browns 6-7-1, and they still technically they need a lot of help, though.
They need like the entire AFC.
Yeah, they need the North and the Central. Everybody needs to lose.
But the Browns win, and the Broncos season is pretty much
gone. They're 6-8. They're toast. Buffalo won. Josh Allen, 13-26 yesterday, 204 yards, touchdown. He was only sacked one time, and he he was a little more conservative with carrying the football, only 9 times for 16 yards. So Josh Allen
He
won.
decided he didn't want to do everything for the Bills this time around, I guess.
Yeah, they actually won. I was shocked as all
But the
get
big
out.
thing, I think, especially in this part of the world, though, is the Broncos losing once again, back-to-back losses against two teams. Again, you should have beaten the 49ers. There's no doubt about that. You let that one slip through your fingers. And again, the Browns, you probably should have beaten the Browns as well. But it kind of brings up the discussion again as we're at the top of the hour. But Vance Joseph, there's no way he cannot retain his job at the end of the season. Yes, they did improve from last year, but this was, I think expectations were a lot higher than where they are, at least what this team is going to be. Again, as I said at the beginning of the season, this is a team that's going to finish top 500.
It's going to be an end-of-the-year decision by John Elway. You go back to
I think John Elway shouldn't make that decision. I think John Elway should be on his way out, too.
Well, that might happen as well. Who knows? The Browns, though, with that win over the Broncos, even though they're 6-7-1, they're a couple games. They're just like a few ticks of the clock away from being 8-5-1. They should be a playoff team. We know for sure.
They've been very competitive.
We know for sure next year they will be.
Browns are on the same level as the 49ers. It's those teams that kind of they probably should have tanked. They probably should have did a little bit worse than where they are right now. But they are those kind of little engines that kind of just competed throughout this season. Yeah, I think the Browns' the record does not indicate of how good this team probably should.
And then there are the Raiders who will have the number 1 pick in the National Football League.
As of now.
They're going to have 3
They're
picks.
tied with the Cardinals.
They're going to have 3 picks in the first round. Now, let me ask you this question real quick here, and I know we got to get to our first guest in hour number 2, but let me ask you the question. They get Chicago's first-round draft pick for Khalil Mack.
Which is going to be high up now.
Yeah, it's going to be a lower pick, but isn't it a conditional? Don't they get something also? You'll get a first round.
All right.
Next year,
you're trying to recap everything of what happened earlier this season. I don't remember.
Well, I thought it was like depending where they finished at. If they finished here, the Raiders were going to get some.
How about you look that up instead of question? I don't know what was in that.
Oh, I thought you knew all the stuff. This is what your job.
What
is,
am I focusing on the Raiders for?
Because they're going to get the first pick in the National Football League.
That is not guaranteed. Again, they're tied with Arizona at this point.
Oh, they will. I guarantee it. All right, we're going to take a timeout. We're going to come back. Hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk today on the way.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne. What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
It is hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk today, being brought to you by a great group of folks. Taco John's of Cheyenne. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service, where they say thank you, thank you, thank you, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and they're looking so forward to working with you again in 2019. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Delrange, where you can get 3 squares equal their chicken tortilla soup right now and their delicious peppermint chocolate chip shake. Both here for a limited time. Don't snooze, you lose. Chick-fil-A, corner Windmill, Delrange, right across from Menards. Kia of Cheyenne. 19s are arriving, 18s. You know what? I'm telling you, if you ask my buddy AJ to put a bow on it, big red bow, he would do it. And he'll put it in your driveway for you. Kia of Cheyenne over in Nation Way. Platte Valley Bank ×2, the original location on Vanda High, and, of course, the east side location at the corner of College and Pershing. Medicap Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical needs. Gene and my friends over there always going to take good care of you. They got a convenient drive-through. Same locale as always, next door to Texas Roadhouse. Lennox Auto Body ×2, founded by Dick Lennox, and tradition carried on by his daughter Heather for 25 years. They've been taking care of cars and trucks here in the Camp City and the surrounding area. Check out the Auto Repair Center on Dunn Avenue, the Auto Glass and Detail Center over on Pershing Boulevard. First Tier Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Thank my good friend Tim, who does a marvelous job over there, the president of the bank. Matter of fact, Tim says check them out for their CD rates right now with great annual percentage yields. Mondello's Pizzeria, the best Paisan cuisine around. Nick, would you agree?
Yeah.
Thank you.
As simple as that.
I give you the idiot card, you say yes, there it is. All right. Joe and the family over
I know
there.
what I'm getting you for Christmas. Nothing.
That's good.
After that one.
Don't worry. You got coal again in your stocking. Anyway, Mondello's Pizzeria open 7 days a week. Paisan cuisine at its best. Mars Plumbing Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue. And, of course, we get things underway with our scoreboard. It's brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. Here's Nick with some scores.
Reminder, at least for tomorrow, as we will have final high school basketball action for you here on 1490 KRAE. Again, last game for 2018, as we will see Kelly Walsh. They will come down here to take on the Cheyenne East Lady Thunderbirds, and Thunderbirds coming up again 6 o'clock. Girls will be up first, and then the boys will follow up at 7:30. Tip-off, again, 6 o'clock. Pre-game about 5:40-ish here on 1480 KRAE, 101.1 FM, 1480KRAE.com, and video live streaming, as always, on Periscope and the 1480 KRAE YouTube channel. From this past weekend, Cheyenne Stampede at home at the Ice and Event Center. It was not a pretty sight as they took on the Steamboat Wranglers. Friday's contest was a 7-3 rout in favor of the Wranglers. Saturdays, it was an overtime win, however, for the Cheyenne Stampede, their first home win of the season, as they defeat Steamboat 4-3 again in overtime. And then Sunday's matinee contest, it was in favor of the Wranglers 7-2. NHL action for tonight, you will see the Anaheim Ducks in Pittsburgh taking on the Penguins at PPG Paints Arena. Columbus Blue Jackets at home hosting the Vegas Golden Knights. Boston Bruins in Montreal taking on the Canadiens at Central Bell Center. Ottawa Sens in Canadian Tire Center hosting the Nashville Preds, and the New York Islanders travel out our region, at least down 100 miles. They will be at the Pepsi Center taking on the Colorado Avalanche. So that's what's happening in NHL action for tonight.
To the National Football League in Carolina tonight, it will be Cam Newton, the Panthers, hosting the New Orleans Saints in Monday Night Football. On the hardwood, Bucks and the Pistons tonight, Little Caesars Arena. It will be the Knicks and the Mecca taking on the Phoenix Suns. It will be the Jazz and the Rockets in the Toyota Center. Target Center has the Sacramento Tomato Kings and the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight in Minneapolis. Chesapeake Energy Arena in OK City with the Bulls of the Thunder tonight, as Oklahoma City will have home court advantage in that one. 76ers and the Spurs in the AT&T Center. The Grizz and the Warriors tonight. Memphis Grizzlies pay a visit to the Oracle Arena. And the Trailblazers and the Clippers tonight, they will battle at Staples. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Hi, I'm Alex White, tea master at Pure Leaf. When I make tea, everything I know goes into it. You can't be impatient. When I craft Pure Leaf iced tea, I don't take shortcuts. Because I want you to have the same amazing taste of iced tea that I do. So I start with fresh picked tea leaves. Then, after they're delicately dried, I blend and brew them at a lower temperature to draw out their unique aromas. And then I taste and fine-tune the blend for a delicious smooth iced tea. I'd love to have you take a sip right now, but that's one thing we can't do over the radio. But you can experience the same delicious taste of Pure Leaf iced tea anywhere you are. I'm Alex White, Pure Leaf Tea Master. Pure Leaf, our thing is tea.
Got something to say? Then get it off your chest right now. Phone lines are open at 307-514-1071. Make your opinion count and call the show. Wyoming Sports Talk today.
It is hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk today, and a special rearranging of the programming as we will have the LCCC Coaches Show today, brought to you by Laramie County Community College, the athletic department. We thank Athletic Director Clark Rasmussen for being a sponsor of our program here today. We got a chance to talk first with Lady Golden Eagles head coach Brian Artmeyer and Coach 9-6 as we hit the break. I know not where you really wanted to be, and again, both Nick and myself commented during the ball game, looking back on the first half, so to speak, the preseason. We should be sitting here talking about a 12-3 team instead of a 9-6 team. But before we got on the air, we it happens. It's baseball. It's in any type of athletics. A slump. Your team's in a slump.
Yeah, and it starts with our outside shooting. I mean, that's really where, after looking at some of our past games over the last week or so, really kind of reflecting on some of our statistics over the weekend, I think a very telling stat, just even here in our wins, we're shooting 36% from the 3-point line. We're 75 for 208, so shooting it really pretty well. In our losses, we're shooting at 25 for 127, so 19% from the 3-point line. And you're not going to get it done that way. And you look at how close we were in 2 of those losses to McCook both times, Otero the first time, Trinidad State the first time around. Just didn't shoot it well. And it's something that, again, with a smaller team, you go one of 2 ways. You either got to hit a bunch of outside shots, or you have to push the ball so hard you're getting layups and you're getting to the free throw line in transition. We're getting stuck in a half-court game right now, and we're not hitting the outside shot. So we're kind of, doomed both ways. So, again, we're going to have to come out and really focus in the second half on pushing the ball a little harder. So, again, our outside people are getting ahead of our point guards instead of running even with them, and try and push it, again, get back to transitioning a little better. And we're going to have to start hitting some outside shots.
Well, in the worry thing, though, about this, and something that we mentioned, it kind of goes of what we saw last year at the kind of tail end of last year's season, where it kind of felt like your ladies out there were just almost afraid to shoot the ball. They realized, hey, we know it's not going in. Why even take that shot at this point in time? But, I mean, how do you get – again, obviously we got to break away, get back at least in a couple weeks. But how do you get them refocused on that of saying, hey, don't be afraid to take that shot?
I mean, maybe this is better that it happened now.
Yeah, and that was the same thought that I had. And that was the message I sent to them before they headed out for break is you've got to get back into the gym more. Again, if you're in a shooting slump, you've got to find ways to get yourself out of it. And it usually comes with getting extra hours in the gym, getting one of we've got that mechanical gun where it rebounds back to you. So, again, getting on that thing a bunch. And we're going to have to go back to probably doing some more individual type workout stuff during the week. So, again, we're getting extra reps, just basically getting them in there, just getting those extra hours so we're getting those reps. And, and that's the other thing. You got to have a couple of games, and hopefully the first couple out of break, we start knocking down some more shots and really just getting that confidence back. You see it go through the hoop in a game, and it makes a world of difference. So really just kind of getting back those first couple, getting out strong and knocking down some shots.
With you and Coach Ronaldo, and you guys are drawing up the X's and O's. And again, the thing that's interesting to me, and I think Nick will agree, as we see it from high top, we see that your kids are open and bypassing shots. Yeah. And they're open not for just a quick shot, boom, it's there, and they have to think about it. Yeah. Then they'll pass it off. Yep. And then the second part is too many bunnies are being missed underneath. And that's everything's being it seems like everybody's rushing things right now. Is it I don't want to use the word fear factor, but is it the intimidation of the bigger teams that we're playing now?
I think that can have a little bit to do with it, especially at the rim. You get, maybe you go in there strong 2-3 times. There's maybe some contact and you don't get the call, or you get blocked twice clean, and you just start, again, that's in the back of your head, that if I go all the way to the rim, I've really got to be careful about how I approach this. And then you get kids kind of really altering their shot at the rim because, again, they're worried about either not getting the foul call or they're worried about getting blocked. And then that's where you start to see them really kind of over-adjusting their shot. So, that was one thing I didn't mention. It's one thing to not be hitting the three-point shot, but when you start missing those bunnies, those layups, those quick putbacks, you got to have those. You really have to. And I really, without having the specific amount in mind with that Otero game, I mean, it had to be 8 to 10 points. So we've got to make sure that, again, we're finishing the ones that we do have, and then, again, we're just getting back to shooting the ball better.
It's interesting, too, that you mentioned the slump, or as I brought forth the slump. And it's typical when you get into the pros, it's a sophomore slump. Yeah. Your sophomores are having some problems right now. Mm-hmm. And again, Carly, who, she's still going out there and hard-nosing it every game, and to her credit, she's not giving up. Courtney's still out there. She's fighting through some of the battles. Defensively, she's still stalwart on the defensive side, but she's a little timid now to fire up the long ball. Jessica's kind of gotten more air instead of, window now on her shot. So, again, ladies with a fragile ego, and again, I'm not, and guys have it too, but ladies more especially, and you can see it. Mm-hmm. And I think we saw it on Carly's face during the ball game. It was almost like,
That smile of Carly, that kind of
it was gone.
Yeah, kind of
that
just
smile was gone, and it was. I don't know if that was a frustration or, doggone it, we're just not going to win this thing.
Well, I can tell you just from the conversations I had with a couple of them, it's some frustration with just the way that they're shooting the ball right now. They're wanting it to go in. They're playing their butts off. I mean, they're working extremely hard. But at the end of the day, when you got shots rimming out or just long here, short here, and you have so many opportunities. Again, we get down 12, we get it all the way back to within 8. And I think we blow a layup. We had a chance to hit an outside shot. We got a chance to get it to 4 or 5. Really put a lot of pressure on Otero there coming out of the half. And but we just couldn't convert. We couldn't finish. So again, I know personally talking to a few of them, it's just a little frustration that is sitting in because again it's not one bad game. It's been 3 or 4 where they've really struggled to hit some shots. So I think the break's going to do them some good just to get home, kind of get their mind off it for a little bit. And then we're just got to get back in the gym coming out of the winter break and get a lot of shots up and get that confidence back.
What's your fear when they go to the winter break? Again, not that we expect every one of them to, got a basketball hoop in their driveway and they're going to be doing layups and what. But what is your biggest fear as a coach during that time off for a couple of weeks? So I mean, eating a ton of food.
I can think of one, but I'm not going to say it.
No. But I'm just what as a coach. I mean, how do you kind of keep in touch with like, hey, back off of the seconds or whatever.
Yeah, one great thing we sent them out our preseason weightlifting stuff. So those that do have access to getting into the weight room, hopefully they're getting in there. We're going to be able to see. Just based on the app that we send it out with, who's actually reading it and who's taking the time to download it and make sure that they're getting in there and doing some things. So we're going to be able to keep tabs just a little bit. I also understand it's good for them to kind of rest, recover. Those little bumps, bruises, sprained ankles, just the little nagging injuries to kind of get that rest. So, but you got to find that balance. You got to stay in shape too, so you're not coming in when we come back on the 27th and it's day one again, where it's taking you 4 or 5 days to get yourself back into at least decent shape. And then again, it usually takes you got to play a couple games before you can truly kind of get back into that game shape. So that's why we try to play as late as we did against Otero on that Friday coming after finals. You try and stretch it out as long as you can, and then you try to kind of get a more or less a warm-up game coming out of break. And I've been there before. Last year's a good example. We come out of the break and we travel over to Scotts Bluff to play a top 25 opponent out of the break, which it's unless you can really simulate that in practice by either scrimmaging against guys or, if, being a top 25 team where you have that depth on your bench, it's really tough to simulate that coming out of break. So I think my biggest fear is just they go home, they kick the feet up for a week and a half, 2 weeks, and they don't stay in shape. They're not getting shots up, and, it just kind of sets them back a little bit.
We are talking with head coach Brian Ortmeyer of the Lady Golden Eagles of LCCC. We will be back. It is our LCCC Coaches Show, brought to you by Laramie County Community College.
There's a place where possibilities are boundless, where curiosity runs rampant, where exploration becomes opportunity. With Laramie County Community College, you can discover the best version of yourself. It's time to take on new challenges, to enrich your life, and to create the future you deserve. Your story unfolds. Laramie County Community College. Apply today. Visit lccc.wy.edu/yourstory.
Cosmetic surgery, is it right for you? Cosmetic surgery can help individuals enhance their appearance and move forward with a renewed sense of confidence. Dr. Joseph Luby at Cheyenne Regional is a board-certified plastic surgeon with 20 years of experience performing reconstructive and cosmetic procedures including breast lifts, facelifts, liposuction, and more. To schedule a consultation, call 307-638-8987 or visit CheyenneRegional.org/appointments. Cheyenne Regional, we inspire great health.
The holiday season is a time when family traditions come alive. Hi, this is Rick Flood with a special Christmas wish from Platte Valley Bank. Whatever traditions you and your family will celebrate, may songs of joy fill your home with warmth and your heart with happiness this holiday season. On behalf of all of us at Platte Valley Bank, we would like to wish you and your family a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
1480 KRAE is your home for live play-by-play coverage of high school basketball and football. Hi, this is Nick Brody inviting you to hear all the play-by-play calls of East, Central, and South football and basketball. You'll hear the conference action along with the postseason, and during the basketball season, 1480 KRAE features both boys and girls games. Catch all the exciting calls on AM 1480 KRAE, also streaming the games worldwide on the web at 1480krae.com.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 55 and winds out of the west at 10 to 15. And for tonight, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 32 and winds out of the west at 10 to 15 miles per hour. On Tuesday, it'll continue to be mostly cloudy with highs around 47. And on Tuesday night, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 32.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on this show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Head coach Jason Fickle will join us on the other side of the hour as we will talk with the men's head coach of LCCC. Right now, Lady Golden Eagles head coach Brian Ortmeyer joins us here as he's on the Christmas break. Coach, you know, you and Coach Ronaldo and you'll get together and look at film. And again, too, I'm venturing to say there are some Christmas tournaments going on. Are you going to be out on the trail as well?
Yeah, it's there's a couple games yet this week. Obviously, with Cheyenne having a couple here in town, might hit a local game tomorrow. Been down to Colorado quite a bit over the last 2-3 weeks. You know, so again, it's good. It's a good time of the year because there are so many tournaments. You can see 3-4 games if you hit the right tournament. You know, again, Cherry Creek had a good tournament last weekend. There were some good teams down there. So again, you can get 3, 4, 5 really good teams that, again, you may be recruiting a kid, 1-2 kids from each team, and so you can get a good look that way. And but most of them, again, they do the moratorium over Christmas break, where a lot of these they can't work with their kids for 4 or 5 days, and they have to shut it down. So it is a good time to get out, but again, it gets a little tougher. A lot of these won't start back up until about the 29th of December.
And if I'm out of line here, let me know. Can you extend offers to a senior right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, and again, when is the earliest that they can commit or sign with you?
It would actually be November 1st. So as soon as November 1st, yeah, as soon as that we turn the calendar into November, we can sign any time up until the next school year. So we do have some offers out on the table. We're just kind of waiting to kind of hear back from a few of them, just, you know, waiting to hear their final decisions in terms of what they're going to end up doing. So in the past, it used to actually be April 1st. So if we had a commitment now, we had to try and hold on to them for another 4-5 months. So it was a little trickier to get them to commit early, but
you know
it's
what?
different.
Every kid wants to play at the D1 level,
Mm-hmm.
and I applaud them for that. I'm not going to ever knock anybody who wants to set their sights high. And then, of course, JUCO's like, well, gosh, you know, it's the minor leagues. And again, no disrespect to LCCC, because I know the brand of basketball that you play there. The question is, though, when you are trying to encourage that person to sign with LCCC, what are the selling points of your program?
Mm-hmm.
And again, I mean, it's only in its third year, so again, it's like they're almost like a building block foundation to the program.
Mm-hmm. Well, and what's kind of funny about that is you know what you started talking about there. I think there's 2 stigmas you have to get past right away. Number one is they hear junior college and they think that's minor league institution in terms of academics. I think that's number one, which is about as far from the truth as possible. Again, we have very strong academics at the college, but I think, again, they look at it as kind of a slide. It's not a 4-year school, it's a 2-year school. So that's step one, is kind of getting past that, especially, I think, on the girls' side. Number 2, they hear Wyoming, and I think a lot of kids from out of state think we're middle of nowhere, you know, and again, the realistic part of it is we're so close to Colorado and Denver, and tons of activities in this area between here to Laramie to Greeley to Fort Collins, and you know, and even here in Cheyenne, there's a lot of things to do. So once you can kind of get past those first 2 steps, again, we're a program that is new, but I feel, again, we're doing good things to build the foundation first and slowly taking it step by step by step. And again, across the board at our college, we have a very high expectation in terms of what we're trying to reach and accomplish. With looking at our women's soccer program and our volleyball program and men's soccer and all these region championships that they've, been able to win and things they've accomplished over the last 5 to 10 years. So that's what we're pushing for. And I think kids knowing that other programs in our college have accomplished that, it sets them up for that as well. And then again, all the numerous athletes that not necessarily have moved on from our program yet, being so new, but you look at all of them that have moved on from those sports that I've mentioned, even our men's basketball program with the amount of guys they've had go Division I, Division II. Again, we're working our way towards that. And I think, again, kids look at that and say, we could be their first All-American or we could be their first academic All-American. So, there's a lot of things that we can still accomplish with our program to be that first kid to step out and accomplish those goals. So a lot of things that we can sell, great facilities. The gym kind of needs a little bit of a facelift, but we've got...
It's still a good atmosphere.
Yeah, and it is.
It's not Trinidad State bad.
That's true. And again, it gets loud. We get a good crowd. And so, again, there's a lot of positives. Campus is really nice. A lot of new things, new buildings on campus. And so, again, I feel like it's a great community as well, just safe compared to a lot of the places that you can go and be recruited
Well, and
to.
also, too,
not only a head coach, but again, a salesman for El Triple
Well,
C.
no,
Also trying to come over those objections, essentially, of saying, hey, here's
the
why.
second part of that, though, too, is, we're one of the few schools that has radio associated with it, and now, thanks to you, Nick, with the video, too. So that helps a lot with the coaches, at both Coach Ficka and Coach Ortmeyer here, in selling the program, because they can't necessarily come up here, but they can watch and they can see firsthand of what kind of program you have.
Yeah, and we do get that question a lot. Are your games live streamed? Do you live stream the road games? It's very important to the parents and the families to be able to watch their kids play.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So that's right. Going back at least to kind of the
compliment him. He doesn't know how to take a compliment.
Well, I'm just trying to finish up things. At least, question for you, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to the recruiting kind of side, is there NJCAA kind of at least requirements, or at least so many offers you can put on the table out there? Are you kind of restricted on saying, or can you go out there and just kind of toss out of saying, hey, you want to come to LCCC, you want to go as well? Do you have those kind of limitations? And also, too, kind of how does that work as well, too, at this point in time of you're gonna have to realize that some of them are gonna decline that offer, but is it something that you have, all right, this backup plan A, backup plan B? I mean, just kind of talk to us about kind of the recruiting process for you.
Well, the NJCAA does restrict the amount of letters of intent that you can hand out. So we're able to split our scholarships as much as we want, as long as we don't go over that limit. So, again, if the number is 15, we can hand out 15 scholarships. Now, the other thing that we can do, though, is obviously you can still try to bring in walk-ons, and you can go beyond that number. So, again, that opportunity is also there as well. But, I think, again, with any sport that you recruit in, you got to have plan B, plan C, plan D, because, again, more often than not, there's always a chance plan A can fall through, especially in recruiting, because, again, there's just so many factors that you can't even think of. We were in on a post player last year recruiting wise, and she ended up signing. She had a lot of the junior colleges looking at her, Colorado, few in Wyoming. She had a lot of interest in this area, and I noticed she ended up with an NAI school out in Kansas. If I remember correctly, she was dating a player that signed with Wichita State for baseball. So sometimes that's something you can't even control either. If they've got boyfriend, girlfriend, maybe a family moves. So again, they want to be closer to family. So again, I think it's always important. You got to have that plan B and plan C in place.
Is there ever an opportunity, kind of continuing with the theme, but you offered a scholarship or an opportunity for a player, they declined it, they go out to a school, they're there for about a week, and they go, hey, coach, or at least they contact you and go, I don't want to be here, I like what you offered instead. Is that something, could be an opportunity, at least kind of running through of like, hey, I want to actually be with you instead of where I signed in
But they're enrolled in that other place,
yeah,
right?
Once
now we're going to
yeah,
stick you with it.
Yeah, then you start, you get into the guidelines and all that stuff.
Okay.
So once they're enrolled, at that point, they're pretty much stuck for the year. Yeah, it's one of those things where they'd have to wait.
Maybe you get that 5-star recruit goes, I don't want to play here. I instead I want to come for you, Coach.
Coach, you mentioned walk-ons, and I know Coach Vick has mentioned that as well, too. when you are at your limit of scholarships and Larry, wants to play for you, and he ended up having a good season at the end of the year for Cheyenne East, and no one was on me or anything like that, do you contact me to walk on, or do I say, Coach, I'd like to have a shot and try out? I mean, how does the walk? I always heard that that word walk-ons. What do they do?
It can work both ways. You do hear from a lot of kids that ask if they can try out or walk on. So that's one way they can go about doing it. I think again, if it's kind of a situation where you're out of scholarship money or scholarships, one way or the other, and it's somebody that you want to try to bring in, develop for a year, see if it works. And so again, you can kind of treat it more like a preferred walk-on situation where, if a scholarship does free up, it's something that you could eventually award to them.
All right, Coach, and one last thing here for you and Coach Ronaldo during the break. Is it a time, too, where, like you said, you're going to go catch a couple of tournaments, and I know Coach has her other gig at Golds, but is this time for you guys to kind of just get away from the rack for, a couple of weeks?
It is. It's hard.
I know you're going to be in your office looking at a lot of film.
It's hard to turn it off. It really is, because I know there's some weaknesses that we have to fix. If we went streaking in a break, I mean, it would be maybe a little different situation where again you're feeling a little more comfortable about the offensive side of things with where we sit right now. But kind of our last 3-4 games kind of hit some hiccups. So for me, again, it's really tough to turn it off because you're kind of trying to self-scout as much as possible. You're trying to look ahead to some of those games that we've got coming up, some of those Region 9 North games, which are very important for us. And you're also mixing in the recruiting piece too. So and then also trying to help our kids move on and get recruited. So there's a lot of different moving pieces, and it's just kind of one of those professions. It's tough to shut it off.
And also too with Coach Ronaldo in her role right now, is she trying to? Or are you handing more responsibilities to her towards the ladies? Because again, everybody looks at you as the head coach. You're the bad guy. You're going to make all the tough decisions. She's going to be kind of that mediator, but also too, she's working with them. Is she trying to step up a little bit her role as the assistant?
Yeah, she's done a great job of kind of finding that role and understanding kind of different responsibilities that she's taken on. So she's done a great job in helping us scout. She's kind of taken more of the local recruiting route. So again, once those games get going here, more of them going in Wyoming locally, you'll see Coach probably out quite a bit at some of those games. So with her work schedule, though, it makes it a little trickier with her working in the afternoons to get out further away to watch games.
Brian Artmeyer, head coach of the Lady Golden Eagles at LCCC. Hey, Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
Happy
Merry
New Year.
Christmas.
Hopefully you at least enjoy your Christmas. Don't work on that day.
No, we will.
He'll definitely enjoy Christmas. and Merry Christmas, your entire family.
Yeah,
The gang's going to be getting together with you as well. We're going to take a time out. We're going to come back. We're going to talk with Jason Ficca, head coach of the Golden Eagles, after these words here on 1480 KRAE.
The next time you have a craving for authentic Mexican cuisine, visit Guadalajara at 1745 Del Range Boulevard. Locally owned and operated, they serve their dishes with family tried and true recipes with the freshest of ingredients, made to order. Start off your meal with their complimentary chips, salsa, and bean dip. And if you're feeling adventurous, enjoy your favorite margarita or cerveza. Guadalajara, where the spice is always nice.
Hop into the KRAE Time Machine each Monday through Thursday for the golden age of radio, featuring famous radio
sister? 4 words, Taco John's gift cards. Now the $5 bonus card. That's simple too. Just buy $25 in TJ gift cards and you get a $5 bonus card for you. It's going to be a very Merry Crunchmas, only at Taco John's.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing! And it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk Today, our second segment here on our LCCC Coaches Show, being brought to you by Laramie County Community College. We get a chance to talk to Golden Eagles head coach Jason Ficka. Coach, good to have you. You're not in studio, you're via Ma Bell, but that's okay. We're glad that you can join us today. I'm venturing to think that you might be out doing some Christmas recruiting?
Yeah, Christmas recruiting. Yeah, I'm trying to get out on the road a little bit this week, and while we have the time, and see some high school kids. So definitely, that's on my agenda for the week.
Are you going to hang around pretty much in the Colorado area, or have you got plans to go further out?
No, I'm not traveling any further than I can driving distance this break.
So you head to the break, speaking of which, 5-9, and again, 6-9, where you pick up the win against Power to Play Elite. And again, to the leaders' credit, they gave you guys a good basketball game, which I thought your young men withstood some challenges by Power to Play, but also too, they hit some timely shots and manned the boards really well when they really needed to.
I thought under given the circumstances, Friday night, the time of the year, and the condition of being the last day of finals and the semester being over, and guys know that they were going to go on the break, I thought we were performed pretty well. I don't think anybody really checked out mentally, but definitely physically we were, we lacked a little enthusiasm, a little bit of excitement in some of the things we were doing. But for overall, I think the guys hung in there mentally and physically and did what they were supposed to do against that team.
Picking up that win against Power to Play this past weekend, obviously, again, a long layoff, a long layaway with a winter break for these athletes. But getting that win, heading in, at least now we shift focus. Yes, we do have one non-conference opponent, as you'll see Western Nebraska come here to Cheyenne, but we get set up for Region 9 North action coming up in the month of January. Getting the win last weekend, is that something that you can focus on, or is it something that kind of helps this team refocus itself, or at least kind of build some momentum heading into Region 9 North coming up in January?
I don't think that it will have the win Friday night will have a big, long lasting effect as far as being a springboard for anything. I just think it takes a little bit of a mental load off of everybody going into the break with a win. And moving the record closer to 500. I didn't want to drop too far below 500, but I'm not shocked or by our record right now. I didn't think that we'd be 15-0. I knew we might struggle at times, so I think we kind of kept our record close where it needs to be. And then I think coming out of the break, if I remember right, we have 4 out of 5 games at home. So we have a chance to get some momentum going here at home after the break. And I think, and we should get Anthony Munson back healthy right after the break. So hopefully those things combined, we can turn this thing around in pretty short order.
For about 10 days or so, up until Christmas and a couple days after Christmas, with your guys, is there? And I asked Coach Ortmeyers, is there a fear that goes through you about the guys kind of just getting a little I don't know, getting a little too much Christmas spirit in them as far as food is concerned, not working out? Or do you really want them just to kind of stay away from the game for a little bit and just do the family thing?
A little bit of both. I mean, I know guys will get in the gym. I know that Tyrese and David and Hayden have already been in the gym. They all went together back to Tyrese's home in Canada, and I already know they've been in the gym. Tyrese's coach called today, so his high school coach. So our guys like to play, so I know they're going to find some time in the gym. But we also, we want to take some time off and clear their brains mentally and let their bodies rest up a little bit. We've got plenty of time. We're bringing them back on the 27th. We've got plenty of time to get back in shape and get, I think, knock off the rust after the break. So I'm not too concerned about what they do for this 12 days.
You have made the comment time and time again since we've been able to chat with you and pick up Golden Eagles basketball on 1480 KRAE. You like this team. And, again, you have a good group of freshmen and only a couple of sophomores. Are you starting to see – and I know I'm going to stop short by saying the maturation process, but are you starting to see this group understand what is expected of them?
Oh, I think so. I think our biggest problem or deficiency on this team is shooting, and that's something that's somewhat beyond anybody's control. But we don't turn the ball over. We play pretty good defense. Our rebounding is adequate most nights. It's not necessarily a strength of ours, but I wouldn't call it a weakness. Overall, I think we play pretty well. We just don't make a lot of jump shots, and that's kind of outside of what people can control. I know our guys are shooting a lot in practice. I know we're shooting outside of practice. So I believe we have better shooters than they're showing. So I'm not disappointed with our performance overall. It's just unfortunate we haven't made more shots.
All right, Coach, we're going to keep you on hold here. We're going to pay some bills since the program is being sponsored by Laramie County Community College. It is our Coaches Show with head coach Jason Ficca of the Golden Eagles. We'll be right back after these words here on 1480 KRAE.
There's a place where possibilities are boundless, where curiosity runs rampant, where exploration becomes opportunity. With Laramie County Community College,
nothing but your medications and your health. Each location is a locally owned full-service neighborhood pharmacy. We won't make you walk through aisles and aisles of stuff or wait in a long line. Instead, we'll always make time for you by listening, answering your questions, and explaining your prescriptions.
Medicap Pharmacy. We'll always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 55 and winds out of the west at 10 to 15. And for tonight, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 32 and winds out of the west at 10 to 15 miles per hour. On Tuesday, it'll continue to be mostly cloudy with highs around 47. And on Tuesday night, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 32.
Fat, lazy, and stupid is no way to conduct a sports talk radio show. We've thrown down the gauntlet, upped the stakes, and made it clear that when it comes to sports talk radio in Cheyenne, there's a new player in town. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Joining us, LCCC Golden Eagles. Coach, you said something when we were going to the break about shooting with your team. One thing that I've noticed, and you mentioned this a couple times in our post-game show, especially with the free throw shooting, a couple of times that kind of shot you out of a possible win. But I'm seeing that marked improvement now from the charity stripe that your guys are focusing a little bit better and hitting some key free throws.
Yeah, overall, our free throw shooting, I think, is pretty close to 70% as a team, which most people would say is the mark you want to hit there. But there's definitely been some nights where free throw shooting has not been a plus for us. But overall, I think it's been pretty good. And some of that is due to getting the right guys to the free throw line. David Applegren's a pretty good free throw shooter. And now that he's being more offensive-minded, he's getting more free throw attempts. So that definitely helps bring our average up. Just getting the right guys to the free throw line.
You threw out on the floor the other night, and I liked it, and I kind of commented on it, called it the Trio Towers, where you had both David and Hayden and Stefan on the floor to go along with Tyrese and Daquan. And for some reason, it was just, to me, it was just a total different look than what I saw last year. But when you had that look with the three guys out there, your three bigs out there, what were you trying to focus on, or what were you trying to accomplish when you threw those three guys out there?
It was pretty much by accident, to be honest with you. Power to Play played zone defense the whole game, so we were never able to run any set plays. Stefan Manzi only knows one position, the power forward position, in our set plays. So the ability to play Stefan and Hayden and David at the same time, Hayden, I think, knows the power forward and the center position in our set plays. So, but they all know every spot when we're just running our continuity motion. So against their zone, that's all we ran was our continuity motion, our zone offense, basically. And we can run any combination of players in that offense. So the fact that Power to Play played zone allowed us to play that lineup. So it wasn't necessarily by accident, but if Power to Play were playing man-to-man defense against us, I wouldn't have ever put that lineup in there.
I'm glad you mentioned at least Stefan's name, as we've seen him kind of transition through this season. He's kind of elevated his game all the way up until what we saw this past Friday against Power to Play Elite. He is kind of the veteran, or at least one of the few veterans you have on this squad so far, again, in his sophomore year. In my opinion, it's something that we discussed, or at least me and Pops have discussed. He's kind of taken on almost a leadership role. He's trying to almost lead this team. Is that something that you're kind of seeing out of Stefan, at least recently?
Definitely. I mean, he's trying to on the court with his level of play. He's really playing hard. He's asked me. The vocal leadership part doesn't come natural to Steph, and there's been a couple times. One time he asked me walking out of the gym. Maybe it was in Scottsbluff. He asked me walking out of the gym, like, Coach, what do I say to these guys? It's that vocal leadership role is something he's never. It's never occurred to him that he should do that. But we've been encouraging both sophomores to speak up more, and I think Steph is trying to do that, and she's just not sure how to do it and what to say. But I like that he has it, that he's trying.
I liked how he mixed it up with both Udall and Vente on the floor, and he hit the deck quite a few times. This we wouldn't have saw last year from Stefan. He kind of camped himself outside quite a bit and kind of stayed away from all of the fracas underneath. But I guess where he's not being the vocal leader, he's trying to lead by example, battling with the bigs underneath.
Yeah, Steph is definitely not. He's not afraid to mix it up. He's not afraid of contact. He's very slight of frame, but he's definitely not afraid to stick his nose in there and battle. And that's with his length. That's how he's able to be so effective. It's certainly not his bulk and his girth, but he's long and he's active, and he's able to get a double just being long and active. We didn't run any plays for Steph. We don't have really any plays in our playbook designed to get a shot for him. He just plays off of other guys and goes and gets second chance points and offensive rebounds and things like that, and he's able to get pretty good numbers just doing that. And you have to have guys like that on your team. You can't run plays for everybody. There's just not that many shots and that many basketballs to go around. So to have a guy like Steph on your team that can go out and get you a double-double, get you double figures, and you don't have to run plays for him is, everybody needs one of those or two of those on their team.
Is he that piece of the puzzle that can make make David Appelgren a better basketball player? I mean, we're seeing he's starting to understand the game here, where it's a little more physical, and he's watching Manzi battle inside with him there. But is Stefan that guy to make David a better basketball player?
No, I think so. I think it helps. Definitely helps seeing the level of effort and physicalness. It certainly can't help David's progression, but David's done a good job of figuring it out on his own and playing with the contact. I mean, I don't think it was totally foreign to him. He just had to get a feel a little bit what works and doesn't work, and what his strengths are versus other people, and how to use his strengths. And David's really there's no doubt David's our most improved player over the first semester. I mean, his progression has been leaps and bounds over the last 2 months from where he started. Where he started, he was just a tall guy, but now he's making jump hooks and turnaround jumpers and catching balls on the move and dunking it and blocking shots and running the floor. I mean, he's really come a long ways in the last 2 months.
Again, I've coined the term for him. He is the Swedish Schwatter, especially his defensive effort. He is a phenomenal effort, especially on the defensive side. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, I was just saying, Coach, when we look here coming back after the break, and of course, the focus of our basketball team for you especially is February and March. And you get another, month and a half to work with the Swedish Swatter, as Nick calls him. Boy, I'll tell you what, if he can make that marked improvement here just in the first half, imagine what he could be like in February and March.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the sky is the limit on David. Now, if he's like most freshmen, he's going to hit a little plateau here. We kind of call it the freshman wall, and I hope we can get through that with all of our guys, because we're so freshman dependent. If all of our freshmen hit the wall, which typically freshmen kind of hit a wall around that 20-game mark, because that's a typical high school season is 20 games. Well, we play 30. We're going to hit the 20-game mark by mid-January. So we see that a lot with freshmen, and so hopefully it doesn't happen with David or any of our freshmen, that we don't hit that wall or that plateau. But David's international guy. He's played a lot of international basketball. He played some basketball all summer long on the Swedish under-20 national team. So I don't think it will affect David as bad, maybe as some other guys that are used to just that straight 20-game season. But yeah, if he keeps progressing, if he makes as much progression in the next 2 months as he made in the last 2 months, then he's going to be a very dominant force. But even if he doesn't progress that much, he's come far enough that he's going to be a really productive player for us the rest of the semester, the rest of the year.
Well, 15 games in so far, 2018, at least portion of the campaign has come to at least an end, getting close to at least starting over with the 2019 part of this season. I do want to at least, final thing for me, for you, Coach, to kind of talk about is you still have one more thing to do in the 2018 calendar year. You have your holiday basketball camp coming up December 27th, 28th, 29th. It will be happening at the LCCC Gymnasium, 9 a.m. to noon on those days. But just talk a little bit more, kind of do a little promotion for that holiday basketball camp coming up.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. Our players will be there running it most part. I'll be in there to do some instruction, but for the most part, we have our players interacting with the kids and have a good time with it. The registrations are starting to come in. I got several today, so I think it's going to be a good group to work with, and we're looking forward to it. You can register. You can go to golccc.com, and there's information on there, or you can email me or call me directly. My information's all on our website at golccc.com, and we'd love to have all the kids we can get. I wouldn't say we have an unlimited capacity, but we can handle a lot of kids. So feel free and let me know, and we'd love to have your kids.
Final thought, Coach. Go ahead, Nick.
I was just going to say, again, more information, again, as Coach mentioned, golccc.com, or you can email Coach Ficca, again, at jficca@lccc.wy.edu.
Thank you. Real quick, one final question from me, and I asked Brian the same question. Is there this time now, and again, you get the family time during the Christmas season, is there a time where you get a chance to just shut off basketball and just step away from it, or are you watching film, watching games? Tell us what's in the life of a basketball coach during a couple weeks off.
No, I won't. I won't totally mentally disengage from it. Definitely not. But physically, yes. Not being in the gym every day helps me recharge me. So I'll still have my mind on some basketball stuff, but it's not near the load as it is when we're got classes and practice going. So the things I'll be doing now over the break will be fairly light in comparison, and definitely I'll have more time to devote to family and just getting a little rest and a little clarity of thought myself.
Well, Coach, on behalf of Nick and myself, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we're looking forward to catching up with you after the first of the year, 2019. We're ready to rock and roll again.
Good deal. Thanks. Merry Christmas to you all, and I hope everybody has a great holiday out there listening.
All right. Thank you, Coach. We will see you in about 3 weeks. All right. We say adios to head coach Jason Ficca, head coach at of the LCCC Golden Eagles. We also talked to Brian Ortmeyer. Our program today brought to you by Laramie County Community College. Coming up, before we step on out of here this evening, we have our Golden Age Radio Theater back.
There you go.
And
it never went away.
It goes away on Fridays.
Okay,
Sherlock
for one
Holmes,
day, but it's still there.
From 8 until 9, and then from 9 until 10, Suspense Theater. Tomorrow, we got high school hoops. And again, it's a double dip from the Thunderdome.
Mm-hmm.
One of the rare games is going to be played at one of the venues.
Well, it's a rare game that plays on a Tuesday for whatever reason.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, though, most of the activity that we'll be covering will be over at Story.
Mm-hmm.
So,
other than the invite, but yeah, most of them are going to be head-to-head at the Story, but yes.
You and Chris will be, Chris Bolton will be
high up top.
You already got that taken care of, Jerry. So, again, we'll be in the Thunderdome tomorrow evening, 6 o'clock for the ladies, 7:30 tap time roughly for the guys, pregame around 5:40. So we got basketball times 2, and then we will head officially to the Christmas New Year's break, and you and me will be back at it again after the first of the year. I'm glad.
I guess.
I'm like the coach too. I'm going to kind of step away, recharge a little bit. I might come out to the ball game tomorrow night and watch. Just
good. You can do it then, because I'm kind of burned out at this point in time.
You're taking off and going on vacation again.
What do you mean again?
You're always you go 3 days to Levi Stadium. You go to
that was a business trip. We talked about it.
You go to some guy's wedding. That's not business. That was party central.
You're
gonna go into Texas there and get some cash and stuff from your mom. You're gonna mooch off her like you mooch off me all the time.
Please.
So I know what your
you don't know anything.
Your operation modi is. You just
you're barely coherently talk right now. So again,
yeah. I learned that from you, pal. All right. So with that all being said, we're going to get ready to wrap things up on this date in history. One last thing to do, and here's Nick.
December 17th, we'll go back to the year 1933. This league started doing this. Again, I can't give you a whole lot on it, but
the American League?
No, again, who would be competing at this point in time of the year?
It would be hockey.
Currently does now. No, another league.
Basketball?
Another league.
Football. The National Football League.
What did they do for the first time that is significant?
That a championship game.
How about in 1933 on this date, the NFL starts official stats keeping as the Bears defeat the Giants 23-21 in the at least championship game. So again, they, the ever lovely stats, they started keeping them on this date.
And how did I miss that? I don't know. I don't know how I missed that. Golly, once in a while I'm wrong. At least I can get the right frame of mind to give you somewhat of a close answer.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even get the answers.
Yeah.
Why don't you let me do it one day?
What do you mean?
I'll pick out this date in history. I bet you.
I guarantee you can't find anything.
Oh, I guarantee you.
You don't know. You don't even know how the internet works.
I'll find it right here. All right. So for a knucklehead across the way, I'm Larry Proetti. Nick Proetti says good night to you.
No shows for the remainder of 2018. As you're saying, again, you need that time off, right?
Well,
Is that
I
what we're
thought
saying?
we were coming back the day after Christmas.
That's fine with me. It sounded like you said you're just done for 2018.
No, we'll come back the day after.
Well, we're done for this week at least because, again, we got basketball and then I'm
leaving.
So what? I told you that months ago.
Mr. Vacation Boy. Wait till you see when I go on vacation, pal. We going to break out the best ofs?
I could do that. I've archived everything.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's the way. Well, why don't we archive and get the archives out while you're gone?
I'm not doing all that.
I know.
I'd like to see you format that because you're not going to.
It entails work. I know.
No, it entails a lot more.
Go.
I could set it up, but you would have to play everything.
I'm tired of looking at you and tired of talking to you. Hey, for Nick Proetti and Larry Proetti, have a good evening. Bye-bye.
This is 1480.